Welcome to the September 7th, 2021 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And I almost got tricked by a Twitter joke today, Lotus.
Oh, I didn't.
People were tweeting about a September 6th Nintendo Direct, and they were retweeting an old tweet from Nintendo of America.
Yeah, I never saw any of those tweets.
Yeah, it was trending because people were retweeting it to get people to believe that it was one from like 2018, which had, that date. So yeah, and of course, I, like a fool, was like, oh, it's the official Nintendo account, so it's got to be true, right? And
well, it was.
Turns out, I was, boy, is my face red. And that doesn't translate well for podcasting, unfortunately.
No, well, what you need to do is go back to one of the Let's Plays that Vice and I did years ago, and then look at our vlog section before or after the playthrough, and then imagine if Vice's face were really red. And then you have it.
Yeah.
Go back to Snatcher. Watch Snatcher.
Yeah. And watch me talk in front of my old collection.
Yeah, when you live at your parents' house. Yeah.
So, I'll let you go forth with a lot of the big ones here, because you're the one who was following them the closest.
We have some big pieces of news this week.
Yeah.
One of them is big-ish, maybe more directly relevant for consumers, but there's been a controversy regarding Sonic Colors, the remaster, out on...
Yeah.
What is it out on? Switch, PS4,
It's on Switch
Steam?
and PS4.
Is it on Steam?
And Steam.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there have been videos that have shown these awful-looking graphical glitches throughout the Switch playthrough in particular, and they're like, oh my god, this game was released in a terrible state, it was badly ported. There's a chance that might not be true, though, because there was this whole discussion of, oh, the terrible port job. No, it was Sega's fault, actually. But there's also a chance that the footage might have come from an emulated version of the game that just doesn't look very good, so maybe the actual retail release is okay after all. I think we're going to have to wait for more people to upload footage.
Yeah, so some other review outlets have confirmed the glitchy state.
It actually is that bad.
Correct.
Oof.
Some people were going back and forth saying, hey, he was using an emulator or whatever, all that, and it turns out it turns out that it's actually very, very, like, it has graphical glitches, especially in the Switch version.
Yeah, a lot of like blinky, like, it looks like the level's kind of loading background stuff, just flashing behind you. It's pretty ugly.
Yeah, it seems like you need to kind of, like, intentionally get it to do that. Like, you need to do certain things, and it will do that. Like, you have to go in and out of, like, something in, like, the world map or whatever.
Well, one of the clips I saw was just a standard running segment where he's running toward the camera. Like, in Sonic Adventure 2, like, away from the truck. Like,
yeah.
I saw it in one of those, and I don't know how much you could fool around with the game at that point.
Yeah. Well, I take everything with a grain of salt. But Nintendo apparently was giving out just like straight up refunds on digital purchases, which they are not known to do very lightly.
Yeah.
Nintendo never, hardly ever does that. And Sega addressed it directly and officially and said, hey, we're listening and collecting data on it. So I think it's likely that it's real.
This makes me wish for the old days when Sonic Colors was on the Wii, because you don't patch Wii games, you just like, it has to fucking work before it goes on the store shelves.
Well, I mean, also, like, there were plenty of games that were glitched back then that just never got fucking fixed. So, I mean...
That is true, and those games were bombs to oblivion. Now they can be patched, which is nice, but, like, they shouldn't have come out that way.
Yeah, no, agreed. And you know what? A Switch should be able to run a freaking Wii game.
It's even still Nintendo. Like, come on.
Yeah, I know. But you know, I'm sure they'll fix it up. Sega, like I said, is addressing the problem directly.
I heard there was either a patch or there was going to be a patch. I mean, not surprising.
Yeah, and I mean, this has potential to be like a really good game, but like it's a shame that like all of this is coming out like so soon to like.
I mean, Sonic Colors was one of the good Sonic games in an era of terrible Sonic games. Like, Sonic games are just starting to get better now, but this was an era where like Wii Sonic
like
games
Sonic
were just not. Like, Wii Sonic games were just bad, and Sonic Colors was one of the good ones.
Yeah, I mean, was there Sonic and the Black Knight, which wasn't good either.
Yeah, both of those were the... What were they called? I was going to say Fairy Tale. Yeah, Storybook. Yeah, like, those are the only two. And there was the Wii version of Unleashed. It was just like a not great port.
Yeah, I even think that, was it the Sonic Boom game? There was a Sonic Boom game for the Wii,
but that was Wii U.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, and you know, this was also during the era of like Sonic 2016 as well. And
you mean 2006?
2006. That's what I mean.
Yeah. To be fair,
I was getting it confused with Doom 2016.
I gotcha. Yeah, but to be fair to the Wii, Sonic games in general were not very good at this time.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean this was made by Dimps, which is one of like the good Sonic developers, even though they've had a couple misses. Like they were the ones who made Sonic Rush, for instance, and the Sonic Advance games.
Okay.
But they also made Sonic 4, so I mean they're hit or miss.
I don't know what the fuck they were thinking by having your momentum just stop when you run off a ledge.
Yeah,
like that just breaks the entire game.
This is by people that are supposedly know what they're doing. You know, which is kind of funny because they made the best Sonic games out of that era.
Yeah, and then they made Sonic 4, which by the way also is episodic. And did it ever finish? I don't think it finished, did it?
No. They originally had planned it as a 3-episode thing, and they just decided to end it with 2. And they fixed the physics with 2, episode 2. But by that point, the damage had already been done. So, and it's still not the best game in the world to begin with.
Yeah.
Dimps also worked on Sonic Generations, I think, as well. So like,
that's a good one.
Their track record is genuinely a mark of quality. Generally a mark of quality. They just they missed it with that one, whatever that was. But Dimps also like they make good stuff. I mean, they made like the Street Fighter games, I think. Soul Calibur 6. Yeah, I mean they have like a lot under their belt. They're actually like a really good company. But they're like one of those like background like secret kind of
their names are not all over the box.
Exactly. They're like hidden heroes as it were. So yeah, they made the 3DS version of Generations rather, but still not a bad game in the slightest. And they helped make Street Fighter 4. So so it's a good company. They're like they lay down the fundamentals for a lot of these games, and unfortunately I think they made both versions of Sonic Colors.
The DS one as well?
Oh, no, they made just the DS one. Okay, alright.
So it has nothing to do with this entire subject then.
Jesus Christ.
They just did not make this version of Sonic Colors.
I tried. I thought it was both of them. I apologize.
This entire conversation was a waste of time, except
they made
to
Sonic
make you
Unleashed.
aware that Dimps exists and is generally good.
They made Sonic Unleashed for the Wii.
Oh, the bad version. We're losing ground here, Vice. This isn't good.
Fuck. I retract my entire portion of this conversation.
Good God, I'm gonna move to the next topic right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame because Sonic Colors is, genuinely the DS one is good.
Well, both versions are good. Just this
and the
remaster
Wii
has got
version's
some
good.
issues.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll fix it up, and at least the PS4 version will be good. So,
Yeah.
But anyway,
Speaking of
this
PS4,
next one was.
Yeah.
What was that?
Speaking of PS4.
Oh, yeah.
The next little bit of news is about the follow-up to Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West. And when it was released, it was later announced that it would be, I think it was $10 to upgrade to the PS5 version if you had the PS4 version, and people were pissed. So there was a lot of backlash about this. So there was something of a compromise. So they backed up on that. Horizon Forbidden West PS5 upgrade will be free. But, fair warning, other Sony games will have a $10 upgrade, which is some bullshit. They backed up on Forbidden West at least, but I guess the idea is upgrade $10 for the PS5 version, because the PS5 version would be $70 instead of $60.
I had heard that there wasn't even an upgrade path in some respects.
Yeah, but I think there was going to be, and then they were going to charge for it, and then they backed up on it.
Yeah, I had heard somewhere that they at some point they deleted the upgrade path, there wasn't
in the early stages. It was just separate versions. I don't know what the logic is behind that.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why Steam is so popular for certain groups of people is because it's almost customary for the new version of a game to be included with your old purchase.
Well, not to mention that, if you think about it, even these Sony games, PS4, PS5, they're both computers. The PS5 is the upgraded computer version. If you buy a game on Steam, you're getting whatever the highest end version of it is, and if you have a lower end PC, then you could just customize that in the options, which you can't do on console.
It's stupid. I mean, the new version of Quake that everybody's raving about right now is free if you have the old version of Quake that was on Steam. I mean, that's usually what happens.
Yeah, if you bought the game, then you continue to have it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't, there's rare instances where it doesn't, but most of the developers put in an upgrade. If you already own this, you get a gigantic discount.
Yeah.
So I mean, $10 is hardly terrible, I guess, but it's stupid.
Again, the logic is that a PS4 game is $60, PS5 is $70. So I see where the $10 comes from, but it's annoying.
Yeah, it is. It is. Especially when you're trying your darndest to get me to transition as well.
You're punishing me for transitioning.
Yeah. Come on. You want me to transition to your new system. We all know that.
And it's also obnoxious if you buy it used or buy it later when it's $20 and then you have to pay $10 to upgrade it. Come on.
Yeah, it's stupid. I mean, fair enough. Most first-party releases like this do end up on PS Plus, free eventually. But I mean, it's the principle of the damn thing, and why are you nickel and diming your base?
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. So yeah, I mean, it's good that they backpedaled, but it's also bad that they're sticking to their guns after that, I guess.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Well, we didn't expect the backlash, so we'll back down this time. But fair warning for the rest of you.
But anyway, next one is on you as well. I mean, I followed this, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
this was.
This is the definition of how it started, how's it going, that meme. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen those?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, when it just cuts to the future and you're like, oh no. But what happened is that John Gibson, the CEO of the game company, right? Tripwire. Yeah, now if you haven't heard of Tripwire, because I've seen their games around, but I wasn't aware of what the company was. But Tripwire has made a bunch of games. Honestly, most of them I'm not interested in. Probably the one I'd most be interested in is Maneater, When You're the Shark. But they've also done Killing Floor, which I've seen maybe not really my thing. Maneater looks kind of fun, not my top priority, but
Maneater's like definitely a standout. Like,
yeah, like if you gave me Tripwire's entire library of games and said pick one, I would go with Maneater. But what we're about to talk about here is in regard to a recent heavily political thing that happened in Texas, where the governor basically played around with some rules that could circumvent a law called, well, I don't know if I'd say it's a law, but
it's a
called,
ruling.
Yeah, what was it?
It's a ruling.
A ruling.
It's a ruling.
Thank you. Because it was a court case called Roe versus Wade, which basically is abortion rights, and the administration in Texas tried working out a way to like circumvent that. So like access to like abortion, like healthcare and stuff like that is nearly impossible, if not impossible. And
it mostly has to do with like basically deputizing like random ass people to
well, that's
sue.
what I was going to get into. Yeah, if you
please go
snitch
ahead.
on your fellow citizen, you can collect a $10,000 bounty on this shit. It's like extremely toxic. Yeah, like if you want an abortion,
really
you
up.
literally have to flee the state and then come back.
And you have to do it without anybody knowing.
That's true too. So basically, the governor of Texas, and not even just for this, there are other reasons, but he's a piece of human dog shit. But in any case, in response to that, the CEO of Tripwire, John Gibson, expressed his support of this on Twitter. He's like, I don't normally like to get political, but I gotta say I support this like Heartbeat Act, etc., even though
by the guy who made the Killing Floor and Maneater like the most violent shit I've seen in a while. You know, like.
Well, I mean, I know where you're going with that, but I don't count that as a contradiction. I play Doom. That doesn't mean I support shooting people in the face, you know?
No, but like I'm just saying, like you're pro. I don't know.
I mean, I
it.
see where you're going with it, but I'm not gonna associate those with each other. But what I will say is that a lot of abortions occur before a fucking heart exists. Don't give me this heartbeat bullshit. But in any case, he expressed his support of that, and the next day, this amused me, is a different company, Shipwright Studios, tweeted at him. And this is significant, by the way, because these people never fucking tweet. The last reply they made was in 2017. The last standard post they made was in 2018 for, like, a job posting. Click our thing to apply for our company. But Shipwright Studios is a company that they're kind of like the extra credits. They work in like the periphery on various games, including stuff apparently with Tripwire and Mortal Shell and stuff like that. So they came out of hiding after like 3 years. Their entire Twitter account just lurks, and they posted that while your politics are your own, the moment you make them a matter of public discourse, you entangle all of those working for and with you. Which is true, by the way, because if people support John Gibson or if they hate him or whatever, that's going to affect the entire company. And the other employees didn't say anything. Like, now they're fucked.
And plenty of women, I'm sure, work for him that
no shit. Yeah, 100% of them must be pissed. So it says, we have worked closely alongside the talented and passionate developers at Tripwire and your partners for the last 3+ years. We know it's difficult for employees to speak up or act out in these scenarios, and they may not feel comfortable to speak their minds. It is regrettable, but we feel it would be doing ourselves, your employees, your partners, and the industry as a whole a disservice to allow this pattern to continue without comment. We started Shipwright with the idea that it was finally time to put our money where our mouth is. We cannot in good conscience continue to work with Tripwire under the current leadership structure. We will begin the cancellation of our existing contracts effective immediately. So, like, now I do want to point out, whether or not you support John Gibson, like, regardless of your stance on this issue, what he posted, one way or another, is highly controversial and lights a fire under everybody's asses. He's the CEO of a company that people have heard of. Like, whatever you feel about this is going to cause all sorts of yelling back and forth. Like, whichever side of the political spectrum you're on, you don't post this shit.
I might add this. You're allowed to have your own personal beliefs and opinions, but, like, you don't have to go onto a public forum, the most public of forums.
That's the whole thing.
And make it a thing of record.
That's the whole thing. If he posted the other way, I am against this idea, I'm highly pro-choice, that would still get tons of people mad, and Shipwright might still be like,
Like, you kind of like, when you run a company, you kind of only have to be politically aligned with your company.
Yeah.
Like, and and like getting along, fighting for the rights of your female coworkers is probably the best you could do. Honestly, when it comes to this stance, and otherwise, just shut up about it. I mean, like honestly, he's speaking on the behalf of his company, unfortunately. And
by the way, like, well, regarding that, by the way, speaking of which, because you know how even if he gets shit on, there's like, you know how there's never any real consequences for the people up top unless something affects their bottom line?
Yeah.
Well, this does that. So the next day, so today, the day we're recording, the 6th, Tripwire, the company itself, made a Twitter post, which, by the way, Shipwright retweeted, so they came out of hiding again. So they're really going in on this. So we'll see if Shipwright actually leaves, because Tripwire posted that the comments given by John Gibson are of his own opinion and do not reflect those of Tripwire Interactive as a company. His comments disregarded the values of our whole team, our partners, and much of our broader community. Our leadership team at Tripwire are deeply sorry and are unified in our commitment to take swift action and to foster a more positive environment. And I'm not going to read the rest of the paragraph, or the next paragraph verbatim, but TLDR, John Gibson has stepped down as CEO. Co-founding member and current VP Alan Wilson will take over as interim CEO, and then the rest is like, don't worry, this isn't some rando, he's been with us since the beginning, etc., etc. So I don't know if
there's continuity and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah. Like, this isn't some new guy we picked up. Like, this is a real deal. He may not be the permanent CEO, but he'll stand in for a while. Now, I don't know where John Gibson is in the company, or if he's gone completely or whatever, but he's not CEO anymore. So they got on that shit real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, cancel culture or whatever, but, like, I mean,
it's not cancel culture if you sabotage your own fucking company.
Exactly. I mean, like, this is you had to have known what you were doing. Like, you at least knew that there was going to be public backlash when and towards your company when you do this. Like, it's undeniable.
Yeah,
like,
you don't shit on your own female employees, and you don't put your entire company under fire for, like, your own personal feelings on something. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, we've talked about this on the podcast before, but when you get famous enough, like, you have to be excruciatingly careful about what you post on Twitter.
Yeah,
like, I mean, anybody should be
like,
careful, but when you're that big that you have that kind of a reach, this won't end well.
I mean, some actors even get more out of not even being on social media, like, publicly.
Yeah, all it takes is one, even unintentional, like, you said something kind of stupid, and, like, it's all over.
Yeah,
like, what's her name on The Mandalorian who killed her own career by being anti-trans? Like, you fucked it up. You had the Golden Goose, and you fucked it up.
Yeah, I remember our discussion. I mean, like, just thinking about this. Like, Disney will literally hire the guy who played Jango Fett in the freaking movie from, like, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like you could have had a bit part at least for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
You know, like, callbacks, whatever.
You're
you could have
in
done
Star Wars,
work.
and it's one of the things that people liked. Like, that's it. You're in. Like, you're more popular than the people in the fucking sequel trilogy, and those were the actual movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, you could have done voice acting for the rest of your career with them.
Hands down. Like, so easy.
Yeah, like, it's the Golden Goose. I mean,
but you had to be an asshole. Now look what you've done.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could just be...
Oh, yeah, did I say the Golden Goose? Yeah, the goose that laid the golden eggs. I fucked it up.
But wouldn't the golden eggs produce golden geese?
Not necessarily. They might just be golden shells. You don't know. I don't think we ever cracked the eggs. In the old story, I don't think he ever cracked the eggs. He just killed the goose to see if it was made of gold. Which, even if it was, that also would have been stupid.
Yeah. Anyway.
Don't kill geese if you think they're gold, because number one, you're an idiot. And number two, you're an idiot in two different ways. Number one, it's not. Number two, even if it were, well, now it's dead.
Well, what does this have to do with Terry Bogard, though?
Oh, it took me a second. I was thinking of gold. I'm like, nothing?
Jeez.
I got the wrong half, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you are wherever you are on this thing, but like, I think it's dumb.
Yeah, despite my own virulent opinions on
me too.
Greg Abbott, like, I do understand why people are anti-abortion. What I'm a little less happy about is people collecting bounties on their fucking next-door neighbors.
My problem with it is, why do you care about what somebody else does? That's why I'm like pro-choice, you know.
Well,
like,
that's the thing. Yeah, it was never about life. It was about like women's rights.
The people that are supporting it,
I mean, for people who are genuinely pro-life, I don't think they're gonna fucking snitch on their neighbors and throw them to jail. That's fucked up.
The whole thing's very very toxic, like you said. It's not promoting togetherness at all.
Yeah, and when Florida's governor is considering adopting that move, you know it's bad, because that guy is arguably worse than Texas's governor.
Yeah, I don't get it. A lot of it just seems like not actual like policy to improve things, but more just fuck yous to like certain
of course that's what it is, and that's how our Congress has been working for the past how many decades? I don't know.
That's fucked up.
What's the United States? Fuck you, I got mine.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with like what's right or what would help anybody. It's bullshit. It's just spite. That's all it is.
Of course it is. That's what it has been for like 150 years.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Probably more.
Anyway, so the next one was a big bummer as well. Jeez, man.
There's a chance it doesn't have to be a big bummer, but at present it is a big bummer. So we had talked a week or two ago about hand-drawn guides, getting a Kickstarter for hardbound copies, which is just kind of neat. But they took down their Kickstarter because I think their lawyers informed them, like, some companies might not like this. So they didn't actually get a cease and desist from anybody, but they pulled out before they could cross a line that they couldn't uncross. So, like, nobody's been charged. Money has not changed hands. They're, like, maybe they could come back. I don't know. But, like, at the very least, they pulled out before they did anything that could potentially actually get them in trouble. They're not in trouble yet, but like their lawyer was like, watch out. So they watched out.
So this is actually like pretty hopeful. I'll read the actual tweet. This is from Philip Summers, the guy who's been running it. And by the way, I am very glad that I have one of those Zelda ones.
Yeah, I got the Zelda and the Metroid the Contra / Ninja Gaiden one. I do not have the Metroid one.
I wish I had the other ones, but I just have the digital versions of those.
Okay.
He said, I shut the campaign. This is in reaction to Kotaku basically like supporting him, but also like misreporting it.
Well, yeah, it's like, damn you, Nintendo. And it's like, no, Nintendo didn't do anything.
He said, Philip said, I shut Kotaku's article straight up says, gorgeous hand-drawn game guides Kickstarter shut down by Nintendo.
Yeah, which is not literally not true. Yeah,
which is not verified. It doesn't mean it wasn't true. It just was not verified.
Well, no, they did not shut it down.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
Like, I'm gonna find there's another post that I'll get to, but you go ahead.
Philip says, I shut the campaign down. I never mentioned which company. But which one? This project did not get a cease and desist. There will be a conversation between parties. The party involved has been polite, and I'm hopeful something can be worked out. They have every right to act as they are. So he's taking the graceful method here. He shut down the campaign right before it could be funded, so nobody got charged. So,
yeah. And what I was going to refer to is Dream Prism Press, which made a little tweet thread regarding hand-drawn game guides. I've seen a lot of tweets that are lashing out at game companies, but this is unwarranted. As much as Phil and I both deeply appreciate your support, the game companies are not the bad guys. If it turns out that this veers too close to IP infringements, game studios do need to protect their property, etc., etc. Also, and this is on the 5th, We have not yet gotten all the details in order. We decided to take down the campaign to be on the safe side. We didn't want to have money change hands, then find out we couldn't print the guides or anything drastic. Stay tuned. This is not likely to be the end. If we move forward, it'll need to be with their blessing. Fair enough. It kind of makes me think of Kurt Kalata's Hardcore Gaming 101 guides, where he makes like Konami games or whatever, but like he doesn't throw their logos around, but he could talk about them. So maybe hand-drawn game guides can kind of fudge things that way, sort of.
He also made it more explicit that it was not an official product of those companies. So like the first time he had any friction was on the Castlevania one.
Okay.
And he had been making them for a while, and the Castlevania one was just, you know, it was basically a singular property, so it had a little bit more attention behind it. Sega is also very lenient towards fan-made projects, so a lot of his stuff had been Sega up until that point.
Yeah.
But this one was, you know, obviously Konami had the problem, and what he did is they contacted him and said, you know, they had an issue with it, and then he redid the cover to say unauthorized on it, like unofficial and unauthorized, kind of like the old game guides used to.
Yeah, totally unauthorized.
Yeah, exactly. And he sent it back to them, like, you know, just so he could get like approval or whatever, and they didn't answer at all. So he's just like, I guess no news is good news, and he went forward and hasn't had a problem since. That's
a risky move, but I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, I mean,
that could have gone the other way.
It's just one of those things. So like, if he, I assume that there are other things like this that have been out there. It's just that this had a lot of attention and it got funded extremely well. So I'm sure that is a big part of it. It's also Nintendo, who's the most sensitive.
I mean, I do understand the game company's perspectives, though, because it's just like what that account said. If this were some kind of infringement on the Nintendo characters or whatever, and they let it slide, what else could be let slide? So, like, even if Nintendo were cool with this, I mean, not like, again, the hand-drawn game guides, people stop the Kickstarter themselves, but like, if Nintendo were to step in, even if they did like the products, they would kind of be obligated to step in.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. I mean,
it's like when you remember the Streets of Rage remake project, right?
Yeah,
where Sega just turned a blind eye to it until they started asking for donations, and they're like, "Well, now we gotta stop you."
You know what's really funny is Jeremy Parish has been making these kinds of things for years. He made one for Castlevania that actually a friend of the show, Perry, had bought me like a long time ago. It's just hand drawn guides of Castlevania and Metroid and Zelda.
Marvelous.
Like it's basically the same.
Yeah, the trifecta.
It's basically the same kind of thing. But he never got called out on it. But
cool.
You know, I think he updated it recently to say that it's unauthorized.
Yeah, just cover yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Why
exactly.
Not?
Yeah. So, but it's just. You know, like if you put that on there, and make it explicit, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those things that you know, you have to play the game right, and it sounds like also the way that he draws the characters isn't too spec. He's kind of doing his own interpretation of what the fantasy instruction booklet art could have looked like back then, rather than, you know, the house style necessarily. So like if you take a look at Samus, she looks notably different.
Does she still have purple hair?
No, but like, you know, like with the suit, but like has like you know, like the suit looks slightly different.
Okay. Yeah, Metroid 1 was that was a different look.
And it also has like tubes running from the gun and things like that. So,
oh damn!
Like if you take a look at his art is like very much like, hey, I read this instruction booklet. Here's what this could have looked like if it were another another concept artist coming
Sure.
up with the design. And I think that's intentional. It's supposed to be as if we were recreating these things from scratch rather than and with the in-game graphics as only the guide to what these things would look like. So that's how Fat Mega Man came to exist. Same kind of thing.
Oh, what the NES Mega Man 1?
Exactly.
The Tekken Street Fighter Cross Tekken Mega Man.
Exactly. Fat Mega Man exists because
some poor artist had 24 hours.
Exactly. So it's these things aren't exactly
and same goes for White Kirby, because they just had a Game Boy game. Like, I don't know what color Kirby is. Like, it's a black and white system. I don't know. He's white, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't want him to be. He was originally pink in Japan, and they were like, "Oh, we can advertise this any way we want because it's it's black and white game, so
tell.
Who cares what color he is?" So obviously they didn't want. Back then, gender, politics and things like that.
Even up to now, though, like I don't know about the current gen, but like even as late as I think the Wii U, doesn't American Kirby on the covers still have like angry eyebrows, even though he's like well known for being adorable in every single game? He's had like 100 games. I think we get it by now. You don't need to trick us with your advertisements, Nintendo of America.
Well, it's just kind of like maybe with the house style.
Yeah, it's just the house style now. It's like in Japan, Ratchet and Clank has like crazy eyebrows.
Thick eyebrows. Yeah.
I don't know why that decision was made, but I guess it's stuck. Here we go.
I guess it's distinctive. But
it sure is.
But yeah, this is a shame until they get this worked out, or if they get this worked out. I mean, he seems like a really cool guy. And he had some really cool work. So it's a shame up until then. But next thing is also pretty interesting. So
I was just gonna say, like, almost every story we have from now on is good news.
Yeah. But apparently people have been finding like entries on the back end of the Epic's game store. And they have basically not confirmed it, but I mean, this is like a strong ass rumor, but like, why would they have like, dummy stuff that this is this detailed? I mean, it basically
the thing I saw was, I think, like a Taiwanese kind of leak of like a rating thing or something like that.
Yeah, so I think that both things exist for both of these games, but because of Epic Games store, but it appears like Alan Wake is getting a remake, remaster,
and being released on Sony.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, Alan Wake is. I mean, Remedy makes some just quality ass games. I don't think they've really made a bad game. I can't think of one.
Alan Wake. I wasn't the biggest fan of the gameplay, with few exceptions. But the areas you're in are gorgeous and well realized. The concept is brilliant. I love the concept. And I even like where the story goes, even though there's like something of an open ending, because there's DLC later and there's allusions to Alan Wake in later games because Remedy references Remedy. But it's a solid title.
Yeah, no, if a game deserves it, it's this one. Hopefully, maybe they'll add like some enemy types. That way, it'll vary up the gameplay a little bit more.
It's largely pretty samey.
Yeah, but the idea and the storytelling are really good. A lot of people even like American Nightmare even better because it's less focused on combat. So,
American Nightmare, Alan Wake has a lot of parts where you really cannot realistically run away. American Nightmare, there's a lot more guns and you can have more fun with the combat if you like, but you can also, not for everybody, but you can mostly outrun enemies. Yeah.
And then also to that end, it seems like people are starting to find hints that Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to PC. I am not surprised by this in the slightest. It was a huge budget game.
Yeah.
And I think they would be crazy not to release it on everything.
Plus, they've had their fun on Sony. It was like the same thing with Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, we've gotten whatever money we're going to get out of our exclusive audience. Now we can release it to everybody else.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether the new section is going to be exclusive still or not. I'm not sure.
Oh, the Yuffie thing?
Yeah, the Yuffie.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Edition. So we'll see, or even whether it will continue to be exclusive or not. Sometimes that's the case, you know. So who knows? But we'll see. I mean, the Yuffie thing I think is PS5 exclusive. So I don't even think you could play it on PS4. So who knows what tactic they'll take with the PC version, but I would think that at least that Yuffie section would be exclusive for a certain amount of time, just like the base game was. So we'll see. I mean, it's a lot of fun. So if more people can play that, the better. I think they did a really good job with it. I did not complete it, so I don't know what they changed or how it ends up. But I had a good time while I was playing it. I just need to go back to it. Oh, and this one's also yours. You had a lot of them.
This is pretty great.
Yeah.
I mentioned in a previous podcast that Ghost of Tsushima got DLC and everything, but after that, it got an additional update, which ironically has nothing to do with the DLC. But in the base game, in Ghost of Tsushima, there are foxes every so often, and if you ever encounter one, it can lead you to a shrine where you can upgrade one of the charms that you have. So you can you find all the fox shrines? But what's cute is that when you're done, you can pet the fox. It's like, can you pet the dog? Mm-hmm. But we recently got a DLC update that enhances that further, which is if you get near one of these foxes, it'll kind of like skip around expectantly, and you can give him belly rubs too. Unfortunately, I was not able to experience this because I perfected the base game a year ago, but that's freaking sweet, man. And I will say, by the way, the DLC is on a new island. There are small monkeys that you may pet.
So this is just another argument to play a game way later.
It's like, can you pet the dog? Well, you always could. Well, now you can double pet the dog.
Yeah, I want to go back to this game.
And the new game has deer you can pet too, or the DLC. Sorry.
This is a PlayStation second party, right? This is a Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
Okay, so
this is brilliant. This is the game that's
right.
Do you remember how when The Witcher 2 came out, Poland officially sent it to President Obama?
Sure.
Well, I mean, you might have known this already, but Ghost of Tsushima, this is an opposite situation. This wasn't, we're so proud we'll send it to you, but Ghost of Tsushima was so well regarded that the actual island of Tsushima made Sucker Punch, I think, just ambassadors of the island or something. They were so happy with that game.
Oh, well, everybody loves this game apparently. So
one of the Yakuza devs said that this game feels more Japanese than we are, and considering how fucking Japanese Yakuza is, that is high praise indeed.
Well, that is high praise. I really want to play this, and I guess it's
a gorgeous game. I remember I think I forgot who said it. Maybe it was one of the Yakuza devs, but they said the story beats felt pretty Western, but the aesthetic was extremely Japanese.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm gonna experience this because I'm so far behind in playing stuff. I need to beat Yakuza. I played while I was on vacation a little bit of Travis Strikes Again, which the gameplay really bothers me in that game. But Suda 51 stuff is never perfect. But this is it's a slog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I normally really like the gameplay of No More Heroes games, so that's the good part of it, right? It's just fun and wacky. But this game is very hacky and slashy and very repetitive. But anyway, I want to beat it for the story, because there's some crucial information for the third game, which is what I really want to play. And so I really want to move on to this, and I don't know whether I'm going to end up playing like the PS5 version or not, you know, if I ever get a PS5 or whatever, so... but I really want to play this, and I want to play God of War. I'm really behind on that too, so there's just too much to play, Lotus. There's just too much for me.
Oh, I know the feeling. Even when I'm streaming, like I have a few games I play at the same time, but like the streams are 90 minutes for once a week. It's slow getting through those for that reason. If I were a full-time streamer, that'd be a different story, but I'm not, so it's not.
Yeah. You know, adult stuff gets in the way, huh?
Mm.
So anyway, next one is yours as well.
Yeah, King of Fighters 15, new old character, Ash Crimson. He is like, he should be annoying, but he's not.
Oh, he's awesome.
He's like the delightfully annoying. He's the guy who always like goes out of his way to make it look like whatever he's doing is effortless. Like he'll smack you across the room, but it'll look like he's going like with like a flick of his hand. He's like the I'm too cool for you character. He should be way more irritating than he is, but he's actually I just don't mind him. He just is amusing to me.
He's also has a lot of like feminine properties. But
yeah, he's a
like,
pretty boy. He's one of those. What do they call him? The Bishonen? Is that
yeah.
Or Bishonen? I forgot what it was.
But
he's the super sexy guy.
Yeah,
he's doing
but
like
everybody loves
backflips.
him. Everybody loves him.
How can you not? How can you not?
He's great. I really I think he was one of the better like newer characters, and like that's saying something because he's not that new. He was introduced in King of Fighters 2003, which is, you know, almost 20 years ago now, but he's not part of the old guard, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So like he's like has since become the main character of several of the games, including I think 13, if I'm right. But yeah, he's just one of the best characters that you could add. I mean, he also aesthetically his moveset is really cool looking. He has like
very graceful.
That green power like cloud that he uses and all that.
I do
stuff.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. So can't wait for that. This is gonna be a good game.
Speaking of gonna be a good game.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put some reminders out there for some games coming out in recent upcoming days, I should say. On September 24th we have Lost Judgment coming out, which really crept up on everybody. Like somebody just reminded me how close it was to coming out.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that, but for the first time I may not buy a Ryuta Kotaku studio game like pre-ordered.
I am very tempted to pre-order this one, but there's one thing that leaves a bad taste in my mouth, which started with Like a Dragon, which is that like Yakuza games and Yakuza Universe games, you know, whatever, have had DLC since Yakuza 3, since DLC was possible, but it's been cosmetic. Yakuza Like a Dragon has additional job classes, which basically translates to fighting styles. Sure. That's paid DLC. I don't like that. And also, this does not apply for the American release, or I should say Western in general. But once you beat the game, there's a post-game dungeon. But if you beat that, you unlock a harder version of that dungeon. That harder version, at least in Japan, was separate DLC as well. We did not have that problem, but we did have to pay for combat styles. Now, Lost Judgment has an additional, I believe, paid combat style for Yagami, which bothers me. And also, his friend Kaito, the ex-Yakuza guy who was in the first game, he has some kind of story DLC, which is, like, on one hand, that's cool, but on the other hand, I wish, like, that was just in the game. So yeah. It's starting to bother me, but I still look forward to the game.
My problem is that I have too many games to catch up on. So like at this point, I want to play the first Judgment before I play the second one. So,
well, yeah, that would just make sense.
Yeah,
like you can get away with Like a Dragon because that's just
it's kind of a soft reboot. Yeah, it's kind of a soft reboot.
Like, you're not going to just start with Yakuza 5 or something. That's like, who are these people?
Yeah, I mean, Yakuza 7, there's a reason why they called it Like a Dragon because in America, because it is a good jumping on point. I mean, brand new main character for the first time.
Yep.
So, yeah, same thing. Well, in this case, I'm so far behind in playing my games, especially my AAA stuff, that I'm gonna wait to catch up, and then if I ever do. So, yeah, that's my stance on it. But I do look forward to hearing like people, enjoying it.
Yeah, I'll probably start playing it like. Well, I'll start playing it when I get the chance. I want to finish what I'm currently playing, but it'll probably take me that long anyway. But I definitely want to give it a few weeks. Because, like, there's this one particular user on GameFAQs who uploads very comprehensive guides for the Yakuza games. So I look forward to that one.
Awesome. Also, another game that I'm really particularly looking forward to is coming out on Friday, the 10th. Warioware, Get It Together. I'm really excited for this. This is the first original Warioware game since DIY, I believe. So, because like there was Warioware Gold for 3DS, which was like a collection.
Yeah, it was a compilation. Yeah,
a compilation. Yeah. So this is really exciting. Because. They kind of ignored WarioWare kind of stuff. I mean, there was Game & Wario, which is kind of a spin-off for the Wii U, and of course it didn't do well. It was a launch game for an unsuccessful system, so how well could it...
Yeah. It was a solid title, though.
Be? Yeah, no, it's one of the games that I would say get it if you're looking into a Wii U, because it's a unique game that won't get re-released for anything, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of that stuff that's touchpad dependent.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games that probably will never get rescued from the Wii U, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that will be legitimately difficult, because there are some games where you could fudge, like, I've mentioned this before, but like Zombie U, like, you can make it so the inventory screen is just on the TV. There's like. On the Wii U, the inventory was on their pad, but on the TV was just your character looking at their pack. Like, you're not missing anything. You could easily fudge that. But with Game & Wario, there's a game where the whole gimmick is look at the TV, look at the tablet, look at the TV, and you have to concentrate on two things at once. Like, you can't do that with a Switch.
Yeah, it's like Nintendo Land. That'll never...
Yeah, same thing. Like, whatever you think about that, I actually think it's pretty awesome. But, like, yeah, you cannot port that.
No, I like that to some degree because it gives you a reason to keep the system, but
yeah.
Like.
But it would also be nice if it were possible to rescue it.
Yeah, I mean there are certain things like Xenoblade Chronicles X, like that has no reason to be tethered to that system exactly. This game looks really fun. I mean, WarioWare games are some of my favorite. Experiences that Nintendo comes out with. I love them and their other big minigame compilation or collection, which is Rhythm Heaven. It's kind of its sister series, to be honest. I think a lot of the same people are involved in them.
I can see that they have similar, like, bizarre senses of humor.
Yeah. And same kind of bite-sized things, and I think this will be kind of focusing on a party aspect, kind of like the Wii version, which a ton of people really love that Wii one. So I think that it's like one of the best received
Rhythm Heaven Fever
games. I'm sorry.
Rhythm Heaven Fever, that's the Wii one?
No, I meant WarioWare. The
Smooth
Wii
Moves?
WarioWare. Yeah, Smooth Moves.
Yeah, that game is, like, I mean, like they're not the kind of games that I would own. That's not what I'm going to play by myself, but those games are, I've played both. Those games are fantastic.
Yeah, but, well, the Rhythm Heaven for the Wii is one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, that's like peak really Rhythm Heaven. Yeah, and WarioWare Smooth Moves was like peak WarioWare. I mean, we'll see what the Switch one is, but that Wii one was really, really good.
It looks like they have a lot of really interesting things to do with the Joy-Cons, and I really enjoy 1-2 switch. It may
Yeah, I was
be
going to
like,
mention that one. That really plays with the Joy-Cons.
yeah, I mean, you could say what you want about it being a simplistic like launch game, but I had a lot of fun playing that.
It's a
and I
great
would-
party
I would
experience.
still
That's what
do
it's
that.
for. Like, the launch
Yeah.
titles for the Wii were particularly, like, just have fun titles.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm really looking forward to that, and I will talk about that next week when I have a chance to play my copy. Moving on from that, I just wanted to put out a reminder here because we had talked about it, but the Nippon Ichi Classics Volume 1 is finally out for Switch. And that includes Phantom Brave and Soul Nomad.
Yeah, Soul Nomad is particularly significant because
yeah.
that's never been ported until now.
Exactly, and they're also currently teasing Volume 2, which is great.
Come on, Makai Kingdom.
Yeah, Makai Kingdom's really the big one that everybody really likes. So probably Makai Kingdom, and what else could possibly be on that?
Well, this is... I mean, I just associate this with the Disgaea games, even though it's really not. It's Vanillaware. But Grim Grimoire.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think there's another game
La
in that
Pucelle?
PS. Yeah, it could be La Pucelle, like finally getting a proper localization that would.
Yeah, that would be
might
something else
the-
too. That game was reasonably censored. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know because there was like Phantom Brave.
Well, there's Disgaea, Disgaea 2, and I know there's like a D2, which is an actual sequel to Disgaea 1 as well. There's Disgaea 3 and 4, but those are PS3. There's Phantom Brave, there's Soul Nomad, there's Makai Kingdom. Like, that's basically the PS2 stuff. Like, again, Grim Grimoire has NIS on it, I think, but it's more of a Vanillaware title.
Yeah, I thought there was some other PS2 game that I'm not.
I don't know about PS2. I mean, there's Rhapsody, but that's PS1.
Yeah. Well, there's other PSP games from that era that never
That's true.
never got rescued too. There's ZHP, which was a really fun game.
There's the Prinny game.
Yeah, well, the Prinny games got rescued.
Yeah, they did
recently.
get rescued. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, it could be the some of those PSP games. I mean, there was a visual novel, Disgaea visual novel as well on PSP.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, that even came out in English.
Huh.
So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stuff that they could put on there. But Makai Kingdom, there's also Makai Wars, which I think that's a mobile only game.
No,
so
yeah, that was mobile, and that came out way later. Like
Yeah.
that was a thing. I've mentioned this on the podcast before. There was a character, Asagi, like the Disgaea games in general, or that universe, like Makai Kingdom and stuff, have unlockable characters post game, and one of them in the later PS2 titles was Asagi, and her whole joke was that she's the protagonist of a game that never came out, but it was going to be Makai Wars, and that finally came out in like the 2010s.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that it's at least Makai Kingdom and something else. I just don't know what that.
Makai Kingdom would be huge. I would love that.
Yeah, ZHP I think is worthy. And La Pucelle, I don't know whether they've untangled themselves from Mastiff, but that's possible too.
Yeah.
Like you said. So who knows? Who knows? But we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll talk about that once that happens. And here's another one of yours.
Yeah, this is a quick one, but Limited Run Games is going to be releasing a physical of Bloodrayne Fresh Bites. Fresh Bites means that it's the remaster of the Bloodrayne game that was on the PS3 and 360 digital only. This is like the secret way forward title. But it's a 2D platformer game, so it plays very differently from the other Bloodrayne stuff. It's a limited game in its scope because this is an early digital title, so I think the 360 in particular had like a size limit of digital titles. So it's a bit of a shorter game, but you could come back on harder modes and get all the collectibles and stuff like that. Soundtrack's pretty gorgeous. There was no voice acting, but now there is in the remaster. Like, the remaster version's been cleaned up. I think it could go to 1080 or something. But it has voice acting from the original Bloodrayne actor from, like, 20 years ago. And there's also a voice actor for someone else. the character of which the identity I'm not going to spoil. There's a new character in the game. I wonder if he'll have a voice. He's got text bubbles. I wonder if he'll have a voice. So I guess it'll just be a new person because it's a new character. I don't know. But it's a pretty cool title. I don't think I'm gonna go for it because I played it and I was like, it's okay. You know, like yeah. I'm not much of a play the 2D platformer levels over again for the collectibles. Like, it was fun to play through, but I don't absolutely need it. But it's a cool title. It's the secret way forward title. The only other secret way forward title I can think of at this point is like Silent Hill Book of Memories.
Yeah, exactly. I should also mention that I think it's on Last Chance for River City Girls for PS5, and also the Kunio-kun Double Dragon collection as well. I ended up I have the Switch version of River City Girls, and it is an absolutely beautiful game, and that probably the best gorgeous game in that series, to be completely honest. So if you don't already have it, you know, and you have a PS5, go for it. And the Kunio-kun Double Dragon collection is secretly one of the best collections like ever made. It's really, really good. They translated something like 11 untranslated.
Yeah, that's insane.
Famicom games, like, and put them into English officially. And like, they'll be able to use those translations in future versions of whatever they release, which is great. It has the original Double Dragon games on there, and they also programmed fixes into all of them. So like the ones that didn't run well, especially like notably like Super Dodgeball is very flickery. For instance, they fixed it up. Like it performs better than it would on an NES. Like much better. They also like got rid of a bunch of glitches in a lot of the games. Like it wasn't just a collection. It like was you know, like giving you games that we never got before, and also fix them up. So that's like, if you care about that kind of thing, like support that. Like I've never seen 11 games just out of nowhere.
Yeah, here you go.
Here you go.
It's usually what happens. Well, not even usually, but like what you might be lucky if it happens is if a collection comes out. Oh, and this one game you never got before, like Mega Man, the fighting game, you know, the arcade. We brought that over? Can you believe it? But like they never bring over like 100 of these things at once.
Yeah, no, it's literally every NES Kunio-kun game and literally every Double Dragon NES Double Dragon game besides Battletoads and Double Dragon.
Versus, yeah,
which is, you know, made by Rare, so it's not. It's more of a Battletoads game than it is a Double Dragon game. If that makes sense. But some of these games are really, really fun this day and age. And some of them are even 4-player, like the soccer game is 4-player. And that game is a blast. You can just like tackle like the other team, and like they'll just sit there knocked out like on the field, just like basically dead. Just like sitting there.
I remember that from when I was a kid. It's like you just killed my teammate. Jeez.
It is really fun.
And you could also bicycle kick like across the field and look like the biggest badass in the world.
Yeah, there's even a basketball game that has like 3 hoops like stacked on top of each other. Yeah. There's a hockey game. I think there are 2 soccer games in here, and also like all the games that are related to River City Ransom, like the Edo era River City Ransom is in there, and like a couple of the other spin-offs. So like there's this sheer scale of this is just amazing. I already bought this, and I decided to get the physical copy of it. Also, kind of because like I kind of want to have all the Double Dragon stuff, physical stuff on Switch. I ended up ordering a copy, regrettably, of Double Dragon 4 because, like, I didn't want to have a hole in my collection. But don't do that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I only did it because I'm a crazy person. But River City Girls is literally the best game, like, out of all of these. I could say. And I can also say that Double Dragon Neon, which also had a physical run.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Is one of the best beat 'em ups I ever played. And both of them were made by Way Forward. Yeah, I think River City Girls was made by Way Forward. Yeah. So both the Way Forward ones, I guess not coincidentally, are the two best out of the.
Yeah, Marion actually shows up in River City Girls. I think she's like a shopkeeper or something.
Yeah, and Skullmageddon's in there as a shopkeeper.
Oh, that's great.
And he even has voice acting in there.
Nice.
There's also like the bad guy from Combat Tribes who is like basically like a cyborg supermodel, like yeah, this weird thing. Her name's like Splatterhead or something like that. It's so weird, but yeah, like a lot of deep like Technos references in that game in particular. Moving on, just this is an interesting thing. I don't know what will come of it or whatever, but the Jet Set Radio artist Ryuta Ueda is back at Sega. So I don't. He is once again an employee at Sega. I don't know if this means that we'll get Jet Set Radio anytime soon or another one. But I mean, we're getting Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, so I do not care. But it would be cool to see if they have some more output. At least their art was really, really awesome. So I'm happy about that. There is also a rumor, take it with a grain of salt, but also, I mean, why wouldn't this happen eventually? But there is a rumor going around that Game Boy and Game Boy Color games are heading to Switch. I mean, why wouldn't they? But I'm kind of mad if that's what the next release is, because it really should be N64 games or like something more contemporary.
GBA.
Like GameCube. Like lots. There are lots of other things that I want before Game Boy. Even though there are plenty of great Game Boy games. I mean, don't at me. I mean there are plenty of great Game Boy games.
Well, actually, you know what I will say. Be really cool is if they let you play like the Super Game Boy games.
Yeah,
that'd be cool as hell.
Yeah, that would be cool, but I think it's like bad priorities. They could be putting DS games on here.
Oh yeah,
they could be putting GBA games are way more.
Yeah, I've been wanting DS games for a while just because I want to play them on the TV.
Yeah, exactly. Like way more coveted 3DS games. I mean, come on. Like Switch games, Wii games. Come on. There's. I meant GameCube games, Wii games.
Bring back Muscle March.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of great stuff from previous Nintendo generations. I mean, GBA is at the top of the list, I'm sure.
Yeah, GBA is up there.
Everybody wants, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, and the Castlevania games and all that stuff. There are plenty of really great GBA games, but even more so, I feel like Game Boy games. I played the shit out of the ones that I really really love, and I don't think there's much you can get better than that. Like somebody asked like what are your favorite Game Boy games, and like you can't get much better than like Link's Awakening is probably like the it's very hard to argue that like Link's Awakening, Donkey Kong, and like Wario Land, like the first Wario Land, is like really fucking good. I really love that one. Six Golden Coins is really good. I mean, like, and outside of that, like the quality, there's very few games that are as good as those. I should point out. So, there are a lot of good games, but like those are the cream of the crop, and I've played the crap out of them all those ones. So. I mentioned, Kid Dracula is a good game. I really like Kid Dracula. and I really like Gradius Interstellar Assault. That one's pretty cool too, but like I know that these are important and everything, but like just give us some N64 games. You know, people want to play Majora's Mask and you know, Ocarina of Time and Star Fox 64 more than they want to play Game Boy games.
All three of those are on 3DS.
Yeah, I mean, bring the 3DS versions of those to the Switch because they're improved, right? All three of them have improved versions, right?
I believe so.
Like they even improved the graphics on all three of those. Yeah, so I mean, Majora's Mask has the most substantial improvements, I think, too. Like it has like an easier logbook and things like that. But next one's yours as well.
Yeah, this is a bizarre one. So Isaac Rebirth, so the new Isaac game that's had continual upgrades, so now it's Afterbirth Plus. But Isaac Rebirth was going to be released on the Vita, but the thing with Nicalis Vita games is that they just don't fucking show up. So, you know, like VVVVVV or like 1001 Spikes, they just don't happen. Yeah. And Isaac was one of those. There was a pre-order on it at Play Asia in like 2018, and then it just petered out. But extremely recently, like today or yesterday, somebody seems to have like gotten a copy of it. Like there's like a hole punched in it, so it might be like, you know, like a not for resale copy. Like you might find it like a library or something. And if that's real, that could actually be quite significant. Like, I mean, I wouldn't play the Vita version. It's actually not a very good version from what I remember.
Sure.
But like, oh, it does exist? Like this could be quite interesting.
They do exist. It's Santa.
Yes.
The M&Ms.
Isaac Vita is Santa Claus. But yeah, like, I mean, we'll see if any of this develops, but that'd be quite significant if somebody actually has this. It's like the secret game that wasn't released, but I guess kind of was.
Yeah, that's really interesting, to say the least. So we'll see what comes of that. Also, I keep talking about the Retrotink 5X, which basically is the best upscaler that you could buy right now. The guy who makes it, his name is Mike Chi. He is continuing to add firmware updates that have significant updates in it, like big features. And this is one that an upscaler has never had before, and it's amazing. So he added anti-aliasing to the Retrotink 5X, and this is for free. Like, you don't have to pay anything extra. This is, like, not part of the original skill set of what this thing was supposed to do. It's just supposed to upscale your old games. But now it has anti-aliasing, so that means it can round out you know, highly polygonal games if that's what you want, and make it look smoother. This is like a huge deal, like a huge deal. Like on PS2 games, anti-aliasing looks like really good. It doesn't look good on very early 3D stuff, but like midlife, like, you know, like PS2 on, it looks really good and not out of place. So and pretty much just makes your games look better at that point. And before, you needed to buy like an expensive thing called like the M chip, I think is what it was called. I forget what it was called, but you need to buy that, and it was like $100 just to add anti-aliasing to your old games. And this is just, you know, an option now, which is really amazing. The FrameMeister and the OSSC have never had this feature or anything close to it. So this is a game changer. It's really cool. So if you were on the fence about getting this thing, like I said, it beats the pants out of all the other ones. Not only is it better and more fully featured and handles like all the resolution issues that the other ones didn't handle well. It is pretty reasonable in terms of pricing. It's $300, whereas the other ones are like Like getting a frame master is like $500, even still. And but the Retrotink also is just freaking easy to use. You just plug your thing in and it works. And you can mess with it if you want, but it looks really fine, like right doing what it's doing. So I definitely recommend it. And moving on from that, we've been following, of course, Kentaro Miura's passing and the wake of everything. Pun not intended, please. But Berserk, the final Berserk Tankobon is going to be released. We talked about the final chapter, but this is the final, collected book of chapters. And that will be Berserk Volume 41, and that will release on 12/24 of this year, Christmas. And they are offering a regular edition and a special edition with like an audio drama included. Now, this is this. To be fair, this is the Japanese version of that Tankobon. Dark Horse has not announced what their plans are yet, but it is, I'm sure, right down the line, whatever Dark Horse is going to do for that final volume. But yeah, just real sad. But at least they're kind of like doing it as a celebration of his life by offering like something special if you want it. So that's pretty cool. And last one's yours, or last couple are yours.
Yeah, Rick and Morty Season 5 has concluded. The last episode that had aired was something like 3 weeks ago. It was 2 or 3 weeks. And there was just a few weeks of nothing. And then the season finale was 2 episodes in a row. Just 11 to 11:30, 11:30 to 12. And it concluded. And the last episode was one of the ones that follows the overarching story, which the show had no problem breaking the fourth wall and directly addressing, but always interesting to see where you go when you get involved with the overarching universe in that show, with the Citadel, with the various Ricks and Mortys and everything. Serious stuff can go down when the episode feels like making it happen, while remaining well, not remaining comical, but having its fair share of comical moments as it goes.
Are they still? Is Morty still griping with the fact that like the Morty from that universe, the Rick and Morty from that universe is actually dead, like their current universe?
Nah, I mean there was an episode where they addressed that, but we're past that.
Oh, okay.
This gotcha. Was concerning the Citadel and Evil Morty.
Because the one with like the robot stuff behind his eye in that early episode.
Yeah, whenever Evil Morty shows up, it's gonna be like, the episodes are usually still funny, but serious shit goes down. So we went into that territory as well.
Oh, I really need to catch up. I still need to. I haven't even gotten through season 2, so I need to catch up. That's shame on me. As much as I love it, I just haven't gotten the chance to. And last one's yours as well.
Yeah, the last one is rest in peace, Michael K. Williams. I think he was well known for being on The Wire. He's been on a bunch of stuff, and I'm sorry to say I haven't seen most of the stuff he's been in, but he was a prominent actor, and he died like younger than he should have. So it's a tragic.
This is early 50s, I think.
Something, I think so.
54, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him either, but I know that his work on the Wire is very praised. I know that the Wire is just like one of those shows that you always hear as a critical darling, but nobody's watched it, and it's still the case. It's one of those things, but like I hear it's like one of the best, things to go back to, I guess, but I just haven't had a chance to. But yeah, I it's a big shame. That's a big shame. Do you know the cause of death or anything like that?
I do not.
Okay. Well, at any rate, it's still a shame no matter what. All right. Any other things that you would like to go over before we end the show here?
I think this is it.
Okay. Well, that is the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and Soundcloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. We'll be going over mini-game collections then. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much anything. Just give me a heads up.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
Okay, wonderful. We will catch everybody on Thursday then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.